This is a Dorking Out special bulletin brought to you by Impatience. Want to do something right now you could just as well do in the very near future? Then you need Impatience. We now join our hosts, Sonia Mansfield and Christopher Allen Smith, blabbermouthing already in progress.
So then Smith, I said to the president, I said, you could take this apple.
Hey, Sonia, we're on. This is the Dorking Out Show's continuing coverage of Trailer Tsunami 2016. Joining us today is Peter Brown, Associate Editor of Assignment X, to help us sift through and opine on the huge amount of trailers that came out this week and what they mean for your entertainment pleasure over the next year. We have set up this special bulletin as a watch-along podcast. So every time you hear this sound, you go to dorkingoutshow.com and watch the trailer we're talking about, then jump back to the podcast so you can hear our thoughts.
That's pretty sophisticated there.
The first two trailers up are Justice League and Wonder Woman. Go watch them. Sonia, Peter, the story of DC has been they made Man of Steel, which kind of underperformed and people were not thrilled with, even though it's grown on me quite a bit. Then they made Batman vs. Superman, which led to the shakeup of Warner Brothers and the rearrangement of the DC movie universe, more along the lines of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it looks like. These are the two first pieces of the new Warner Brothers plan. First footage that we've seen. What did you guys think?
I'm going to let Peter go first.
Okay. So I'll start with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is great. I dig in the trailer. I think it's got a lot going on in a short amount of time, and what we see, and I think it's going to be a cool movie. I think it's going to show exactly what we want from Wonder Woman, and I think I like the time period. I like that they're not doing it modern times because I guess it's going to be kind of an origin story, which is fine. But I like that they're kind of bringing in her kind of full circle now. Now we saw her in Batman versus Superman, and we saw her, today on modern times, and now we get to see kind of where she came from, and I think that's going to be really cool. I think that's a great way to do it, and it looks like it's going to have action. It'll probably be funny because everything's got to be funny now. If you're a superhero movie, apparently, which I don't get, but whatever.
Well, it's got to have some humor. I mean, let's be honest.
Sure. Well, I mean, yeah, some levity is fine, but
Man of Steel would have been twice the movie it was if it had had 4 moments of levity, a couple breathing moments. That movie would have been twice as good as it is, I think.
Yeah, see, I'm a big Man of Steel fan, and I'm a big Superman and Batman fan. So
right.
I don't mind the darkness of the movies just because I enjoy those kinds of movies. I love the Dark Knight trilogies from Christopher Nolan. I think those are awesome movies too. And those don't have a lot of levity in them at all. So, I don't know why these movies have to have that too. But
it's because Superman's not supposed to be dark.
Yeah, and because
that's
almost no one's as good as Christopher Nolan. If you can make movies that good, you don't need jokes.
And that is a fair point, and that is also a fair point. So, so the Justice League trailer, I'm really excited about this. I kind of like this better than I liked Wonder Woman, although I think Wonder Woman's great too, because it just kind of gives us a little bit more of what we saw in Batman versus Superman. I think it was good to see all those characters kind of be shown and originally in that movie, but now we get to kind of see them like kind of interacting with others. I think it's going to be cool if they can pull it off in terms of just getting all these characters and getting them enough time to kind of show who they are and kind of how cool they can be. I think it's going to be a good movie, despite the fact that Snyder's got his hands in it. And now that the Warner Brothers is kind of taken over a little bit of it as well, they're obviously going to add some humor in it. We saw that in the trailer. So hopefully fans will be happy and they can stop complaining about how dark the DC universe is, because it seems that's all they ever complain about. So,
Sonia, what did you think?
I really liked the Wonder Woman preview. Like, I think she kicks so much ass. And the preview kind of reminded me of the first Captain America movie. I think maybe because it's set in the past around a world war, this time World War One. So I'm really excited about that one. I didn't see Batman v Superman because it looks like a super bummer. So this would be my introduction to Wonder Woman. So I'm really excited about that. And I have to say, for the Justice League, it looks more like something I would see than Batman v Superman.
Interesting.
And I really I like the guy playing the Flash in that preview. I really like that scene. And you guys told me it's not the guy from the show. Well, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, I've never seen either one.
No, it is a different Flash. It is a completely different guy.
Maybe you guys could tell me who's the cyborg-looking guy.
His name is Cyborg.
Guess what his character's name is? Cyborg.
Yeah, that's his name. It's very hard to come up with. Yeah.
I really didn't know that it was someone named Cyborg.
No, that's
FYI.
fine. That's fine.
And that's exactly how they came up with him originally. They were like, "Who's this cyborg-looking guy? Oh, we're gonna call him Cyborg."
Exactly. It would be like if Terminator was called Robot Killer.
So, Smith, what did you think?
I really liked Wonder Woman a lot. Like Justice League, not quite as much. However, I did like it. I thought there was just enough levity or enough, I mean, that's the thing about, I think there's a lot of DC fans that are kind of embittered, like, oh, why do we have to be like Marvel and have jokes and stuff? Every successful action movie, from Lethal Weapon to James Bond movies to the Marvel movies to anything, almost any successful action series has to have moments of joke, of levity. They don't have to have, punchlines and one-liners, but they have to have some moments of humor to kind of take the edge off the harshness and the whatever. So I'm really excited to see. It looks like DC going in that direction where there is just some humor. I did have a question for both of you, though. There was a line, I thought, where a woman in the Wonder Woman trailer says to Diana, "You were my greatest love." And it doesn't seem to be in like a mother-daughter kind of way. And Wonder Woman, surprise, surprise, is a pretty big lesbian icon. What do you think that's any kind of indication of where they might be going, or do you think that was just kind of an interesting cut that has a subtext for a non-mainstream community, let's say?
Now, is that different than the Chris Pine's assistant who said, "You're my favorite" or whatever? Is that a different line? Because I know
there's a woman like kind of caressing like Wonder Woman's face, and it's like, "You were my greatest love."
Yeah.
I took it as kind of like a mother-daughter type thing.
It could be.
Although I like where you're going, Chris.
Well, no, but here's the thing. How many times have your parents gone, "You're my greatest love," or whatever? They say, "I love you." You know what I mean?
I wish they would, say they love me.
That's right.
That's a whole nother podcast.
My dad never says he loves me.
I think we stepped into it. I'm sorry, podcast listeners. I didn't know that I was going to open up this can of worms.
My mom's name is Martha.
Speaking of taking a dark turn.
That's right. All right. So we don't know. I would love it if they went that direction, because, having more than a few friends in the LGBT community, it's been kind of a subtext for years and years and years. It's almost like a Bert and Ernie thing in pop culture, which is, when is Wonder Woman going to come out? When are Bert and Ernie going to come out? She's a lesbian. Come on. Let's just say it and get it over with.
I thought Bert and Ernie were brothers.
Really?
Well,
I don't want to derail the whole podcast. I'm just saying, I kind of always thought they were brothers.
I don't know.
That is really interesting. I just thought they were
just,
friends.
Quote, best friends.
That's right. All right. So,
I don't know. I know in the comic books, Wonder Woman kind of straddles the fence.
Right.
That's the best way to put it. In terms of her sexuality, I know. I think in the latest kind of DC universe, I think she was hooking up with Superman actually. So,
right.
For a while. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, hell, if Superman's asking, I might go that way too. So maybe she is a lesbian, but Superman. Come on. Anyway.
The George Reeves, Christopher Reeves version of Superman,
right.
or the
no.
Just kidding.
All right. So okay, let me ask you this then. This is something that we're gonna do when we do these trailer recaps and whatever. I want you guys to predict the Rotten Tomatoes scores for these two movies. We're going to do this for all of them, and then we're going to come back in a year and see how well we did. Justice League. What's the Rotten Tomatoes score for Justice League?
Let's see.
I'm going to say 76%.
All right. Sonia says
76. Because I think I know kind of the internet, and I think it's going to be 63.
All right. I'm going to go 65. I think Justice League is going to improve on both of Zack Snyder's previous DC efforts, but I think it's, I don't think it's going to go north of 70.
There's enough haters out there that there's going to be enough people that are going to poo-poo it regardless.
All right, Wonder Woman. What's the Rotten Tomatoes score there?
84.
Damn, we are right on the same page. I was
going to say $1.
All right. That's not how this game is played, Mansfield.
All right, 85.
85. All right, I'm going to go 80 then. I'll have to go. I think we're all, that's interesting. We're all in the 80s. All right. Next up, for those of you watching along at home, Star Trek Discovery. The teaser for the new Star Trek show, fronted by Brian Fuller, coming to CBS and CBS All Access in January. Watch the trailer now. Okay. Peter, are you a Star Trek fan?
Yes, I am. I'm not a diehard Star Trek fan, I would say. I have seen, let's see, I didn't watch all of Enterprise. I think I watched the first season. I watched all the Next Generation, all of Deep Space Nine, almost all of Voyager, but not all of it. And and the original series I've seen, obviously, and all the movies. So,
all right. So, what do you think? How did you like the Star Trek Discovery teaser, which is essentially a ship going out of space dock? Brian Fuller has said that the show is going to be serialized over 13 episodes, so it's going to be kind of a modern style show. It's not going to be episodic. There's hints today coming out that it could have an African-American female captain, and he's talked in the past about his ultimate dream is to have Angela Bassett be the captain of a starship on a show that he produces.
That would be so rad.
I would love that.
So I'm all for that.
Crazy.
I'm all for that, and I'm all for the it being not episode by episode. I think that's kind of like where a lot of the bad Star Treks kind of happen, where you have Picard going on an away mission or whatever, and something happens, and they have to deal with some crazy race or something, and it's not good. So I'm all for kind of the amping up kind of the mythology of the series and kind of making it everything kind of tying together. So I'm a big fan of that. So that's all good news to me. That's great. The ship looks absolutely terrible. I think I said it before. It looks like a Lego ship, and I don't know what they were thinking with it. Maybe the final product will be better, but boy, that looks bad.
Sonia?
Looks really bad.
This preview was nothing but spaceship porn to me.
She said like that was a bad thing, but
as we've discussed before, I'm more Star Wars than Star Trek. So
yes.
I did watch. I watched
something you want to remind us. It's something you want to remind us about every time we talk about Star Trek. But no, I understand you like Star Wars.
I just want to say, like, I'm not a hardcore Trekkie. Like, I did watch the original series with my dad back in the day, and I've seen the movies, but I haven't watched a lot of the show. Like, I used to watch Next Generation with you.
That's
back in college.
Because we're not old.
Because we're not old.
That's right. So what did you think of that? Did the teaser do anything for you? Did it?
Yeah, I was like, I look forward to watching it. I thought the ship looked fine, but I'm not, a crazy Trekkie.
That's right. All right. So
my husband had thoughts and feelings about it.
all right, we're not
he's
gonna.
like, it looks kind of like the Voyager one, and he wanted to know if, like, the things move up with the jets, and he had all kinds of questions.
That's
and
right.
I was like, I don't know.
Yes.
7 and 9 on board.
Yes, the jets. That's right. All right. No. Okay, Peter, I'm gonna try to blow your mind with this.
Okay.
There's a theory that I saw on Ain't It Cool News that the registry number of the USS Discovery is NCC 1031, meaning that this ship is a ship specifically for the section of Starfleet called Section 31, which is like the CIA, MI6, spy doing crazy missions section of Starfleet. With that in mind,
That sounds awesome.
exactly. That's when I read this theory, I was like, oh wow, I'm on board for that. What do you think now? What do you think of the ship? If it's some sort of specialized, not military, but it's some sort of specialized machine that's not like any other Starfleet ship, then what would you say about how it looks?
I would say that they need to get better funding and for a better ship. Because obviously Section 31 isn't doing enough to get money. Because that ship looks terrible.
But they don't have money in the 24th or 23rd, or as far as I know, the 22nd centuries.
So you get better engineers.
All right, fine. Rotten Tomato score for the first episode of Star Trek Discovery. Give it to me, Peter.
Oh, did they give Rotten Tomato score for TV?
They do now.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
They do.
I'm going to go with 68.
Okay. Sonia?
75.
I'm going to go with 87.
Ooh.
Partially because, for some reason, the tomato meter skews up when it comes to television. There's a lot of hundreds and 95s in television. So I'm going to say it's going to be pretty high. It might even hit 90. I'm going to say 87. All right.
Oh, is this on a scale of 1 to 100?
Yes. What'd you
All
think?
right. Well, maybe
She was
I
doing
would.
hers on 1 to 75.
Maybe if I knew that, maybe my number would have been different. That's all.
Perhaps you should go on the internet sometimes and check out Rotten Tomatoes. But, I don't want to tell you your business. Next up, Doctor Strange. So, I'm gonna start with Sonia this time, Peter. Sonia, what did you think of the latest preview for Benedict Cumberbatch, his introduction into the Marvel Universe with Doctor Strange that's coming out in 4 short months?
I think Marvel's Inception movie looks really great.
You stole what I was going to say.
No, I do think it looks really cool, actually. I think I like Benedict Cumberbatch a lot. I almost messed up his name there. That's why I'm snickering. And I think the special effects look awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome in that preview.
It does look like Inception, though.
It totally looks like
It totally rip off of Inception.
Well, yes and no. And when I saw the teaser a couple months ago, I said, yeah, it does look like Inception with the buildings bending up and on top of each other. Now, however, with this new preview, they're bending up and down and they're folding inside out and they're going all these different directions. And it really does look like several universes all kind of cramming together and flipping on each other's axes or whatever. It looks nuts. There was some information came out today about how this is the beginning of the Marvel multiverse, which could then theoretically connect over to the Fox Marvel movies and, Sony stuff, and it could really connect. It could, be the thing that connects every Marvel property everywhere on screen, which would be nuts. I don't know if they're going to go that far, but it looks like, because a lot of the images is of, the same building folding up and splitting in two and becoming two buildings that look the same, and buildings on top of other buildings and then folding around each other in 4-dimensional space. It's nuts. So I'm really excited. And I think the thing that I love about Marvel, and this might be one of their secret sauces, is every couple movies they say, all right, we're doing something totally different. we're going, they did Iron Man, then they did Captain America, which was, kind of a real retro movie. Then they did Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. Now they're doing this crazy magic thing with Doctor Strange. Yep. It's like every time it looks like they're about to get in a rut, they totally veer off in a different direction, and this one looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say this: I've never really been a big fan of Doctor Strange in the comics, but I was never really a fan of Ant-Man, and I really liked that movie. I was never really a fan of Guardian of the Galaxies, and I liked that movie. I was never really a fan of Daredevil or Jessica Jones, and I like both of those series. Yeah. So I'm like, even though the trailer is a little kind of strange and doesn't really kind of show a lot, I'll probably end up seeing it, and I'll probably end up liking it. So
yeah, well, that's the thing is I'm a Batman guy, I'm a DC guy, but when it comes to executing well-made movies, nobody can touch Marvel, and at this point I think it's pretty obvious no one will ever be able to touch Marvel, because even if they reproduce some sort of cinematic connected universe with a bunch of good movies in it, it's just going to be, well, Marvel was there 15 years before that. Marvel's done it. What Kevin Feige and they did over at Marvel is a new Hollywood achievement, which, given that movies have been around for 100 years, that is a unbelievable thing to say, that they could pull something that new and that crazy off. Doctor Strange. What is the Rotten Tomatoes score of Doctor Strange?
82.
80.
I'm going to say 72. I'm going to say
low.
People are going to think they're going to have problems. There's going to be a couple hiccups. There's going to be a certain contingent that's going to be out. This is Marvel magic. This is weird. I don't know. And then I think
this is Inception.
Exactly. Then there's going to be a little bit of the I'm tired of comic book movies critics that are going to knock it down a couple of pegs, even though it shouldn't be knocked down. All right, so I'm going to say 72. All right. Next up, the Lego Batman movie. So, Sonia, what did you think of the Lego Batman movie preview?
It is the Batman movie I've been waiting for. I am really excited. I love the Lego movie. It was like one of my favorite movies the year it came out. I loved it so much. So I'm really excited to see the Lego Batman movie. Yeah.
I'm going to go, Peter. I thought it was really fun. It's funny because there's every once in a while when I'm getting cynical about Hollywood or feeling bummed out, it's like, oh, God, they're making a movie about the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. This is going to suck. Or, oh, my God, they're making a movie about Legos. How the hell, what are they going to do?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was going to be so awful.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? This movie looks ridiculous. And then I saw it and I was like, we watched it like the next day again.
Yeah.
Like that rarely happens in this house. It was so good.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Everything is awesome.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing is Batman, the Lego movie. It just looks like fun, ridiculous. You get to do Batman. You get to have all those tropes, but it's almost like. I guess it's almost like an updated. You could almost think about it like an updated version of the '60s Batman, like total straight comedy, taking himself too seriously, and that's why it's so funny. Batman movie. Peter, what did you think?
It's pretty hard to go wrong with these Lego movies, I think, and I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. I think for a lot of people, and there's nothing really else to say. I think it's going to be good, and kids are going to love it. Families going to love it. It's going to be a good one. I'm just waiting for the internet to come and say this isn't my comic book Batman.
It's ruining my childhood.
That's right. Where's all the internet hate?
I know
that you would think might be focused on this. Maybe. Well, you know what it is.
Well, if they had a woman playing Batman.
That's true.
That's right.
True.
That's true.
It's Legos. Geeks love Legos. Internet people love Legos. Batman, they love Batman. You know what? So I think those things cancel each other out. All right, so then, given that there might be some haters out there, what's the Rotten Tomatoes score for the Lego Batman movie?
92.
92. All right.
I think Peter and I are on the same page, as I was thinking 90.
All right, I'm going to go 80. I don't think it's going to be that ecstatic. I think a little bit of cynicism. I think a little cynicism is going to creep in. I'm going to say 80.
Why do you hate Legos?
I don't hate Legos. In fact, I have spawned a professional Lego builder. My son, the great Harrison Smith, gets paid to play with Legos. That's how much I love Legos. I have given them my firstborn son.
But apparently not their movies. But whatever.
Right. Next up, the FX movie, the first X-Men television series, the FX channel's Legion. Watch it now. Sonia, you were super high on this Legion preview.
I am super high on this show. It had me hooked when it said it was from the creator of Fargo. The Fargo series, season 1, season 2, some of my favorite television in the last 2 years. So I'm downright giddy. I don't think I understand what Legion is. Like, I don't understand what his powers are. Apparently,
I'll explain it to you.
Okay, apparently he's connected to the X-Men in some way. All I know is I thought the preview looked really, really great and really fun, strangely. And it had Aubrey Plaza in it, and I like her. So I'm in.
What'd you think, Peter?
So let me say, are you guys familiar with who Legion is?
Nope.
At least in comic books. So at least this is comic books. I don't know if they're going to follow it or not in this show. But in comic books, Legion is the offspring of Professor X.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Professor X is the main guy who brings all the X-Men together, right? Yeah. And he and Maura Mataggart, who I think was in a couple of the movies as well. She's like this. She is a human, but she has a lot of interaction with a lot of mutants.
Apparently.
And so he is like basically batshit crazy, and he's got multiple personalities. And the thing is with his powers, is that each multiple personality, which they're like hundreds, he has like hundreds of multiple personalities in his brain, have different powers. So like one might have telekinesis, one might have the ability to shoot firebolts out of his hand, one might be able to control gravity or whatever.
That is so
each
interesting.
One, and so when one takes over his body, they have that power, right? So he's constantly fighting with these multiple personalities for control, and sometimes he gets control of himself, and other times they just run rampant. And they just they cause lots of chaos and destruction. And he's sometimes a bad guy, he's sometimes a good guy. I think he had his own comic for a while where he was kind of had everything I could control, and he could actually control the multiple personalities. So if you wanted to use one of their powers, you could just kind of grab hold of it and kind of use it. So
I didn't get any of that from this preview. That sounds amazing.
So that brings us to this trailer, which is really different. And so I don't know what this series is going to be, and I'm interested though. I'm not. I think it's going to be, if it even has kind of a sliver of what the comic book has, I think it'll be a very interesting kind of program to watch, just because it could go virtually anywhere because he's so crazy and he has all these people in his mind. So I think that's why you see a lot in the trailer, like random images of him dancing, and kind of like there's a disco ball at some time, and there's like psychedelic imagery kind of being thrown there, here and there, and then he's kind of back to the shrink, and he's like, oh, where were you at? So yeah, I mean, I'm on board. I think I'll check it out for sure.
Cool. Sonia, what did you think? Oh wait, you already told me what you think. Let me tell you what I think.
How quickly you forget.
That's right. Pretty soon I'm going to forget to do the Rotten Tomatoes score. Looks great. I don't really care about the X-Men anymore. I'm sorry. After X-Men Apocalypse, after The Last Stand, after the first two Wolverine movies, it's like it's like flipping a coin. It might be good, might be not good. We'll see. I don't know. So for me, I wish I could buy in.
You're going to change your mind. You're going to.
I might.
I was going to say, if they do for this TV show what Deadpool did for mutants, maybe
it could.
Maybe
No,
there's something there.
You're totally right. See, I love the idea, and what you described is great. And having the guy that worked on Fargo work on it, really, I am definitely going to be paying attention to it. But it's not like a Star Wars or a Star Trek or a Marvel movie where I'm going to get excited about it 6 months ahead of time. It's like, let me, I'll set the alarm when it goes off. I'll watch Legion, and then we'll see what I think. So, but I'm glad that you guys are excited, and that comic book sounds great. So, what do we think the first episode of Legion is going to get on Rotten Tomatoes?
85.
87.
What did you say?
I said 85.
85.
Okay. I'm going to say 70.
70. All right.
Hater.
I'm going to say... See, there's a contingent of critics that don't like sci-fi type stuff. They usually
that they won't get it.
Exactly. It's like you have to grade on a curve with usually comedies, especially romantic comedies, especially horror movies. You got to grade on a curve. So there is a little bit of that for sci-fi stuff, even though it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm going to be close to Sonia. I think it's going to be. I think a lot of people are going to like it. It looks very well done. So 82. That's my number. So next up, we return to the world of Hogwarts and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, J.K. Rowling's new story in the Harry Potter universe. Why don't you go watch the trailer right now? Peter, are you a Harry Potter fan?
I am. Yes, definitely. And so is my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter. She loves it. And so she's going to be ecstatic that they are doing something else in this universe. So so that alone makes me happy. So I am really excited about this. I think it also opens up an opportunity to do more there, I think, because Harry Potter ran its course, and that's fine. But what about the rest of the world? And that's kind of where this is. It's in America now, so that's kind of something that maybe could be expanded on after this movie. So even though I don't know if she's written any more books in this universe or not, or in this region, but I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they said that they had 3 movies mapped out, kind of ready to go. Is that right?
I don't know. I didn't hear that, but you could be very, very well be right. Cool. Yeah, that's great. If there's more movies, are great. But I am excited. My daughter's going to be like jumping through hoops. So yeah, it's going to be great.
What did you think, Sonia?
I really love Harry Potter. I read all the books. I love all the movies. And I'm excited to return to the Harry Potter world. But I am a little worried about this movie. That if Harry Potter is the Lord of the Rings movies, I'm worried that this one is The Hobbit.
Oh God, I didn't think about that.
I'm like,
God, you do make a good point.
The preview doesn't get me super excited. I want to like it more than I do.
Yeah, that's a great way to put that.
I am kind of concerned that there's doesn't seem to be a big bad guy, because Voldemort is such a good character, such a really bad guy, that it's just like there's that whole thing there that you just want him to go down, and this doesn't seem to have that.
Well, that's true, but one of the reasons I'm described as a sci-fi author on the show before I put out even my first book is because I'm working on a book right now, and I've taken the Harry Potter books and kind of ripped them apart to hopefully learn how they work. And Voldemort is a very strange villain in that he's nothing but a reputation for like the first 3.5 books. He's not even really in them that much. And he's definitely not in the first one. So I think they could have a big bad villain that is just hinted at and maybe touched on a little bit, and that is built up if they're going to have 3 movies. That they could have a huge big bad villain that we don't even see for another movie or 2.
Yeah. Well,
he's
and
in the first one though, right?
He's in
the
it
guy.
a little.
The guy
yeah, no,
is the second head.
See, that's the thing. He's in it, but what does he do? He's just like slithers away, and that's it. He does nothing. He doesn't fight. He doesn't cast magic. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but he's behind all the bad things that are happening.
A little bit. He's like, he's trying to get the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone.
You're right.
He's trying to do it, but in the final confrontation, it's Harry and Ron and Hermione talking to their teacher that has this weird growth on its head. That's the end of the book. Which is great, which makes sense because they're like 11 years old or whatever. So what are they going to do? Have some big action scene? No. Anyway, but I digress. So, all right. So what's our Fantastic Beasts and where to find them number? Did I already ask this question? Sonia Mansfield.
No, you didn't. I think it's going to be low. I'm going to say it's 60.
Wow.
Ooh,
really?
Like the first Trouble in Paradise, huh?
Yep.
All right. Peter?
I think it's going to do well, but I think it's not going to be overwhelming like Harry Potter. So I'm going to go with 78.
Okay. I think they're going to nail it. I think people are going to be so happy to have the Harry Potter universe back. I think it's kind of charming. The preview looks kind of charming and strange and weird and fun and mysterious. And I think the creative team behind it is the same creative team that did the last couple Harry Potter movies. I'm going to say 90. That's my guess.
By the way, I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong, too.
Me too.
So
my daughter hopes you're wrong.
That's right, Sonia. Why do you
hate Peter's daughter?
That's right. All right. Next up, Kong, Skull Island. Have a look right now. Sonia, are you a big King Kong fan?
I'm really not. I've seen the original. I saw the Peter Jackson one, which I thought had good parts, but I didn't super love. And I watched this preview, and I watched all of our previews, and I made notes, and I wrote nothing down for this one. Like, it clearly made, like, no impression on me whatsoever.
That is interesting.
So sad.
Peter, what did you think?
I can't believe, like, it's one of those movies, too, where, like, Brie Larson wins an Oscar, and then this is, like, her next big movie is going to be Kong Skull Island.
What's funny is she was probably shooting Kong Skull Island.
She was.
As she was going to the Oscar. She probably had to leave the set. No kidding.
I just think it's so funny, like, when these actresses in particular, when they win Best Actress, these women, like, the follow-up movie is, like, Catwoman. That's right.
What do you want to bet?
Or Aeon Flux, or, like, these really bad action movies. And I'm worried that this is that.
Ooh, Aeon Flux. Can't believe you brought that up.
What do you want to bet that Brie Larson, all she had to do the day after she got back on set after winning the Oscar was run around from a giant green hand that stood in for Kong's hand? What you're going to do today, Brie, is we're going to have you run past this green screen and scream.
Yeah, put your Oscar down.
I'm an Oscar winner, damn it.
That's right. Well, here, let us use it to hammer in this nail to hold this green screen up so we can paint in a giant ape.
What did you think, Smith?
We'll see. It's like I'm kind of interested in that it's a King Kong movie that we don't have a timeline for, that we don't know what's going to happen. It's not a remake. It's something else. They've already announced that this Kong is a lot bigger than the other Kongs because it's going to have to fight Godzilla in a couple of pictures.
Well,
you know,
now I'm interested.
Legendary is starting up its shared monster universe. And
Sweet. Because everything needs a universe.
Everything needs a universe. And, you know, we make fun of it. But when they come out and say, hey, we're going to have this Godzilla fight this King Kong, and it's going to happen in 2 years, I'm in. I'm excited. I think if I remember, or if I look correctly, this movie takes place in the 70s. Do you know anything about that?
I don't.
It seems to be pretty retro. And I heard that somewhere, and then when I watched the preview again, it's like, oh, yeah, there's nothing in here that couldn't be in a 1970s era situation.
Oh, I didn't even put it together.
All right. So,
what do you think, Peter?
So I was kind of in the same boat with you, Sonia, before watching this trailer. Like, could care less. I didn't even really pay any attention to it at all. Now watching it, I mean, I'll give it a shot, I guess. You know, it's not something I'm going to actively probably go out and see. I'll probably wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. But, you know, I'm not against it. That's for sure. I just think, I don't know. I wait and see, probably. So I'm kind of in the same. So I guess I've been upgraded from don't care to wait and see.
That's right. Well,
I
keep waiting for somebody. I keep waiting for somebody to yell out, Kong. I just have it reverb through.
If that doesn't happen, then why did they even make this movie?
And then they pan out to the Earth, so they just kind of show the Earth going, Kong, and it's reverbing.
That would be not good. What? So, given that, what Rotten Tomatoes score are you predicting for Kong Skull Island?
This is a tough one because I think it's not going to do that great. So I'm in the theaters to begin with. So I'm going to say 56.
Damn.
Peter and I are aligned again. I was going to say 55.
Damn it! We're all aligned again. Even though I want the big King Kong versus Godzilla thing, I just have a feeling that this is going to be one of those shared universes, like apparently the Universal Monsters shared universe, which is different from this one, crashed and burned when Dracula 2000 came out or whatever it was. Anyway, I'm going to say 50. I think you're right. I think this is going to be this is going to underperform. This seems like a cool idea that I'm not sure is going to be executed all that great. And they're going to have a problem on their hand. But to be really honest, I have absolutely no idea if this movie is going to be good at all. It looks like it could be good. It looks like it might be meh.
Hey, you know what? It's a rare movie that's coming out that isn't connected to like a comic book in some way. So maybe people will be excited to see it.
That's true. So yeah, we'll see. And if it's like a Transformers type movie where it gets a 34, but still everybody and their GD brother goes to see it, well then maybe maybe we'll get the Godzilla versus King Kong movie, even though it does score low on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
So,
they're just robots that transform to cars. Come on.
That's right. Oh God. I'm not sure I have a lesser favorite franchise running right now than the Transformers movies. That might be my least favorite franchise in all of pop culture.
I have not seen 1 second of any of those movies.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't think I've seen any of those movies. And I can't believe they keep rolling them out, and I'm just like, really?
They do.
Who's seeing these movies?
I have to say, and this is where I am all kinds of hypocrite. I have seen every one of them.
Why? You're the problem.
I might be the problem. Because I like
this time it'll be good, you guys.
No. Here's the thing: is my boys and I like to go. It's like summer for us is like baseball season. It's like the parks opening back up, spring training's over, all the Oscar movies have fled the multiplexes. We're gonna go see movies, and I know the first one was like fun. It's like, all right, Transformers, let's see what this is. The second one was maybe what it is I just hate watch. I hate watch Michael Bay movies. And it was just, the second one was awful. And I should have stopped, and I have a problem because I went to see the third and the fourth one also.
I think you hate yourself for loving it.
Dude, that one turns into a boombox.
I don't love it. Well, actually, here is one thing that's part of it. I think it was in the third one where it had the little black jive-talking robots. And even though they weren't black, you could definitely tell that they were in an ADR studio, and Michael Bay was just, grabbing somebody and say, I want you to talk like a jive-talking robot.
Did they have subtitles like in the airplane movie? No,
they didn't. Think of a stereotypical... think of the stereotypical black character that you would see on a 1970s sitcom, third-tier sitcom. Channel that. I think that's what Michael Bay was saying, because that's what came out. These are quite offensive, quite ridiculous. And that was like, I can't believe they're doing this. And then in the fourth one, there was a gay joke that I swear to God came right out of Three's Company. I think Michael Bay is like secretly tapping into the dark side of middle America that thinks in kind of stereotypes about different types of people, because there's a joke in the fourth one where I think the joke is supposed to be that Mark Wahlberg's character does not like gay people, and he doesn't respect this guy because he thinks he's gay. And I don't think he doesn't say something like, I think that guy's a queer or something, but he says something like, it's nuts. I shouldn't say you have to see it, but it's just weird.
No, because I'm not going to see it.
Yeah, it's a very strange movie.
Well, Michael Bay's kind of a conservative dude, FYI.
He definitely must be, because that's coming out in his movies. And I am convinced, I haven't done this and I'm not going to do this because I'm saying this on the podcast. I'm convinced if someone made a supercut of all the African-American people in his movies, he would have a huge PR nightmare. He would look like the worst kind of Hollywood stereotyping black people director out there. It is nuts.
Oh, people wouldn't care because his movies make money.
Well, see, that's the thing, is I think it would blow up like crazy in this current climate. I think people would start boycotting his movies, and then I think it would turn around to they would think he couldn't make money anymore because he's such a he would have a total Mel Gibson problem on his hands. But
poor Kong Skull Island. This is not its fault.
How did we get down that rat hole? Good Lord. All right, next up. This year's second secret sequel, Blair Witch. Watch it right now. Sonia, you like to be scared of things. What did you think of Blair Witch?
I don't really like to be scared of things. So I saw the original Blair Witch Project. It scared the crap out of me. Like, my sister and I saw it. We went home. We were roommates at the time. We slept with like our bedroom doors open so we could like see each other because we were so afraid. I don't even know if we slept that night. And I have to say, this preview kind of scared me again.
Yeah.
And I don't really go to horror movies because I actually really don't like being scared anymore. I guess because I'm just an old lady now. But I kind of want to see this one.
Yeah,
and I think, and let me say, I think it's really amazing that they made a secret sequel.
Yeah,
in this day and age,
I love this trend. I love Cloverfield. 10 Cloverfield Lane was made as a movie, and actually, now that I think about it, I think this might become a real thing because you can make a movie that's a sequel, and no one will know. You call it something else. You don't really call it out. And then 2 months before it comes out, you say, oh, by the way, this is a sequel to this movie. You throw open the marketing campaign like they did with Cloverfield and how they did with Blair Witch at this last week's San Diego Comic-Con, and it can take off. I am not usually one for horror movies, but I thought Blair Witch was one of my favorite movies. I love the found footage genre. Sorry, people. I know there's a lot of horror people that don't like it and are sick of it. I don't care. It's an unbelievable unbelievably effective way to make scary movies and interesting way to make scary movies. And I'm in. I'm gonna go see it. I had never heard of The Woods, which is I guess what Blair Witch was named as they were making it. But yeah, I'm
and apparently
going to see it.
The man making it has made I think he made a movie called You're Next,
right?
Which people really like.
Yeah. Actually, I like that a lot. Actually, You're Next.
So, what did you think, Peter? Are you interested?
Well, actually, now that you say that it's from the person who did You're Next, it kind of gives me pause about what I'm about to say. But I'm actually going to be contrarian on this compared to you two. I am not interested in it at all. Not at all. I didn't think the original Blair Witch was very scary. I saw it after all the hype had come out, so I think maybe that was part of the reason. I didn't think it was scary when I saw it. Actually, at the end of the movie, I believe I said, "That's it."
Oh,
and,
no.
So yeah,
when
those
I
are my
saw it
exact
in the
lines
theater,
that I said.
there was a woman crying in the theater. She was so scared.
Yeah, see, I was like, but I watch a lot of horror movies, so that's probably maybe I'm more desensitized to this. So
she thought it was real.
Well, that's the thing, is this was back right when the internet was starting to be a thing and promoting movies, and there was a real question when that movie was coming out and leading up to it. There was a real question on the internet: is this real? Is this truly found footage?
If you remember, they did a great job about it too, because they had the actors disappear for a while.
That's right.
The actors were gone.
And
they didn't do any.
Yeah,
they didn't do any publicity for it. They said that they're missing. So they did that whole. They played it up big time.
Yeah, Peter, you're crazy. Blair Witch is a classic. Blair Witch is an unbelievably good movie. I don't know if the Blair Witch Project is a classic. It's an unbelievably good movie. I don't know if Blair Witch is going to be anything near it. I think it's interesting to see a movie try to walk in footsteps that big, given the found footage craze that Blair Witch Project unleashed on Hollywood. That's still to this day. But yeah. We'll see. So
I will say that I do agree with the fact that I like the trend of secret sequels happening. I do like that they're doing these kind of under the radar kind of movies that have a tie-in to something that's already come out. I think that's a really cool thing to do. I hope they keep that up. This one I'm not really that excited about, but I did like that the 10 Cloverfield Lane thing. And I hope that we get to see some more of that kind of stuff. I think that's cool.
Cool. So what's your Rotten Tomatoes prediction?
42.
All right. Sonia, why is that so funny?
It just seems really low.
Or is 42 just an inherently funny number?
Yes, that's hilarious.
It is.
Hey, Batman v Superman got like a, what is it, 26 or something like that?
29, I think.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
So and that no way deserves a 29.
All right. Well, yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42.
Yep.
Answer to all life's.
That's right.
Answer.
That's right. All right. What's your prediction, Sonia?
I was gonna say 75.
75. You know what?
Wrong.
I'm with Sonia, but we have to institute a rule where we cannot have the same number. So I'm going to say
76.
I'm going to say 74. Actually, you know what?
He even knocked it down.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to revise that. 65. I think it's going to be liked.
Way down.
I think it's going to be liked. I think people are going to like it. I think it's going to be better rated than most horror movies. Because horror movies, any horror movie that gets over 50 is like, oh, wow, this must be really good. And I think Blair Witch is up in the 80s or something. But anyway, so I'm going to say 65.
And let's all pray that it's better than Book of Shadows.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's right.
The original sequel to the Blair Witch Project.
I wonder if this is going to be a Mulligan sequel that I think we talked about last night, or we've talked about on the Pop Show before, which is a sequel that does it over, that ignores the previous movies. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Or no, wait. What am I saying? We talked about this on the previous Dorking Out is where we talked about this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Anyway, yeah, I wonder if they'll just ignore Book of Shadows.
If they're smart, they do.
Right. Blair Witch Project. 86. Blair Witch Project had an 86. Look at that.
They'll ignore it just like everybody else did when it came out.
All right. So, last and possibly least, we are going to discuss King Arthur, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword. Watch the preview right now. All right, guys. I have a theory about this movie, but I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
Okay, does Peter want to go first? You go first, Peter.
Okay. So I have to preface this by saying that I am a big-time King Arthur fan, and that I believe the movie Excalibur, which was a British movie, came out in the 80s.
Yeah, I know that movie.
Kind of the pinnacle of all King Arthur lore, in my opinion. And if it isn't following that kind of pattern of how that mythology should, I'm totally against it.
You're going to be against this.
And so I'm totally against this movie. And I do not want to see it. I probably will see it when it maybe comes out on video. But yeah, I'm not excited about it at all. Not excited about it at all. I think that it looks like just a bland action movie that they slapped King Arthur on. And so I just I don't.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie did the Sherlock Holmes movies, and I think that he's doing to King Arthur what he did to Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
Those were like, they were just action movies, and it just happened to be a dude named Sherlock. Like, they weren't really Sherlock movies, and that's what I think this movie is. I also think Hollywood needs to stop making Charlie Hunnam, or however you pronounce his name. They need to stop it. He's not going to happen.
You know what? I agree with you. I was going to say, yes, he did the Sherlock Holmes movies, which were kind of fun romps and whatever. The problem is, or the benefit he had is Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And he had Jude Law, and that's fun to watch. Charlie Hunnam, whatever his name is, I have never liked this guy. And I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a sweet guy. I feel bad for saying this in case anybody that's listening knows him. But I've not liked him in anything. There's something about the way he talks that drives me nuts.
You know what? I think he's just like, he just doesn't do it for me. He doesn't register with me at all. He's like a stand-in for like the real star while they do the lighting setup.
Oh, God.
I like him in Pacific Rim. But I think you could probably put anybody in that role and they would have been just the same. So
yeah.
He's so boring in Pacific Rim that it took me a while to figure out that the guy in the later half of the movie was the same guy at the beginning half of the movie. I was like, that's the same guy? Dave, my husband was like, oh my God, are you even paying attention? I was like, I am. He just doesn't register for me at all. He's just nothing.
Yeah, I cannot.
I do feel bad saying that. I don't like to say that about an actor, but he really doesn't register with me.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I feel bad about.
I know he did Sons of Anarchy, and people really like him and like that show, but
that's the thing is I think they like the show. There's a lot more going on that show, but I think he had the same problem in that show, and that show went off the rails in other ways. But yeah, he just. There's something, I feel bad, and that's one of the things that's kind of sad about, when you critique a movie or when you're watching it as an audience is, these actors, they put their faces up there, they put their voices up there, they put their bodies up there to project characters and create things and whatever. So you feel bad when you take a hammer to what they've done, but I just don't get this guy. He's like, and I hate... Well, I'll say this, but I had the same feeling for Paul Walker. May he rest in peace. I'm serious. I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but there's certain kinds of actors that it's just, why is this person in movies?
Like Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes, thank you. Freddie Prinze Jr. is perfect. That is. Here's the thing that, you know what, Sonia, you've just hit on something perfect. In Paris, there is like the international metrics and whatever measures, and they have a ball. I think it's a silver ball that is the official kilogram. This ball is the kilogram. All other kilograms, when they're measuring, when they're building machines and stuff, and they need to calibrate them for kilograms or whatever, they use some version of this perfect ball of Freddie Prinze Jr. is the universal, international, approved by the UN standard for boring stand-in actor. You could just plug him in, plug him out. And so, okay, so that, judging by that then, if Freddie Prinze Jr. is the perfect one, is Charlie Hunnam, is he like 1.5, 1.3 Freddie Prinze Jr.'s? Is there like a scale we can use?
I mean, I guess he's better than Freddie Prinze Jr.
That's right. All right. So what would...
I guess he's not gonna really put that in his clip reel, is he?
No, he's not.
I'm better than Freddie Prinze Jr. Sonia Mansfield, Dorking Out Show.
I amount to 1.5 Freddie Prinze Jr.
So I guess by this standard, Tom Hanks would be like 100,000.
Yes.
Right.
And Harrison Ford would be like 90,000. And then, all right, so then Humphrey Bogart would be up there. All right.
100,000 Freddie Prinze Jr.
He would be 100,000 Freddie Prinze. Well, you know, we'll do, actually, no, we can't call them princes. Yeah, okay. Freddie Prinze FPJs. FPJs.
FPJs.
The international measure of acting is measured in FPJs. Freddie Prinze Jr. is 1. And then everything else is based off of that. So then,
then this Charlie guy's like 1.5.
So 1.5.
So then would like a
FPJs.
That's right.
So then would like a Steven Seagal be like a negative 1.5?
Yes, because Steven Seagal. See, the thing with Freddie Prinze Jr. and this kind of actor is they don't repel you and they don't draw you in. They're like a void.
That's why I think he would be below.
So
Yes.
So let's all right. So let's think about this. So Tom Hanks is, let's say, 100,000. Robert Downey Jr. is 100,000, might be 110, might be 95,000. Steven Seagal would be negative 50,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal would be, all right, yeah. Oh, you know what? Shoot, we should patent this.
We're onto it.
This is a hell of a way to rate actors. Of just
And like Gary Busey would be like a negative 25,000.
Gary Busey. Well, see, that's the thing. Is Gary Busey, he moves around that scale like crazy. Because, you know, he was in the Buddy Holly, you know, back in the 70s, he could have been up in the, I don't know, 25,000.
Wait, today's Gary Busey.
Well, see, but okay,
Gary
but here's the
Busey.
thing with today's Gary Busey is he is like, I got to keep an eye on that guy. That guy is weird, but there's something about him that I got to pay attention to him. He's nuts. He might do something crazy. I can't just write him off. So I don't know what Gary Busey would be. That's a good question. Yeah, maybe Gary Busey's
this at 3 a.m.
Maybe Gary Busey's like a plus or minus 10,000.
Depending on what day it is.
Depending on the
role.
moment, depending on the day, it's like a political poll margin of error. It's Gary Busey is plus or minus 10,000 FPS, or what is it? Freddie Prinze FPJs. I already forgot it. All right, so Legend of King
Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. Well, yeah, this movie is nuts. You know, we've gone along far enough, but you've got to watch this trailer because if you haven't seen it, it looks like they could be breaking some new ground here and trying to do some new things, filmmaking wise, for an old sword and sorcery type movie, or it could be just an abject sucker punch style Zack Snyder train wreck. Sonia, give me the King Arthur Legend of the Sword score.
35.
35. Okay. Peter?
I'm going to go Batman v Superman and 29.
Okay. I forgot. I'm going to give my number in a second, but I forgot my theory on movies like this. Anytime a movie has something like The Legend of whatever, or The Beginning of This, or The Adventure Begins, or whatever, Dawn of Justice actually feeds into this. The Legend
of Fern Gully.
The Legend of Fern Gully, The Legend of Ga'Hoole. If it's like name of the series, the beginning of, or the legend of, or the tale of, it's never any good. No great movie has ever, except for one, Batman Begins, no great movie has ever named itself the beginning of something that's awesome and actually pulled it off. So, by that logic, I'm going to say...
You mean you didn't like Remo Williams?
The Adventure Begins, that's right!
The Adventure Begins?
That's exactly that. Boom, right there. That's another one. The
Adventure Begins.
The Adventure Begins and ends. That's right.
I appreciate you bolstering my point, Peter. Thank you for coming on the show. My prediction, 33. 33.
All right. We're all really close on that one.
We're all really close on all of these now that I think about it. So, all right. That has been our Dorking Out's continuing coverage of the trailer Tsunami 2016.
Can I ask one last question?
Yes, one last question before.
Is that okay? Is that a possibility?
Oh, yeah, hit it.
One last question, and I just thought of this as we were talking. Will the Waynes die in the Lego Batman movie?
That's right. I didn't think of that.
They have to, right?
They have to.
How else would we know?
No,
That's
you know what?
How else would we know?
I'm going to say no, they're not going to die. They're not going to show parents get killed in a kids movie.
Yeah, it's a kids movie.
Even though they did it in Bambi. But
and Lion King.
And The Lion King. That's right. Oh, yeah, that was an on-screen death, that one.
And Finding Nemo.
Oh, right. Anyway. All right, so they'll probably kill the parents in this. You know what? Yeah, actually, Sonia, you might have flipped me on it.
What's the over-under?
I don't know. How would you calculate that on...
By Freddie Prinze Jr.'s. That's how you do it.
We're going to do this. We are going to make the Freddie Prinze Jr. scale. Okay. I'm telling you, if we explain this and put it on a website, this is the kind of thing that could take off. All right.
I will levy 500 Freddie Prinze Jr.'s that they kill the Wayne in the Lego Batman.
I don't think they're going to kill the Waynes.
All right. Okay. How many Freddie Prinze Jr.'s is Christian Bale?
65,000.
65,000. Okay. Sonia?
It depends on the role, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess kind of.
In the fighter.
A rough body of work, I would say.
We're talking The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
it's probably like 100,000. Terminator Salvation. It's like 35.
Well, say 70,000.
No, okay, 70,000. Because I'm saying the thing about the Freddie Prinze Jr.'s is it gives you your worth, like what you can do as an actor, how much attention you can pull, how much you can kind of captivate the audience. Freddie Prinze Jr. is he's inert. He's like a sponge or something. He has no chemical reaction.
That's right. He's a solid unit.
Well, then I think Christian Bale is actually probably higher. Okay. He's probably more like an 80,000.
80,000. Okay. So then if Christian Bale is 80,000, maybe Tom Hanks, because I think a Tom Hanks type person caps the scale. It's
right.
It's like
absolute
zero in science where you can't get any hotter or higher than this. You would have to be a Frank Sinatra. If they had this for singers, a Frank Sinatra is the top of the scale. Pow. Or the Beatles. So, all right, I don't know where we're going with this. But thank you for listening to Dorking Out's continuing coverage of digressions and some trailers that we talked about.
Peter, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Thank you. You can find Peter at, where can they find you, Peter?
Peter Brown AX on Twitter.
That's right. We now return you to your podcast schedule. The Dorking Out Show is on Twitter at Dorking Out Show, where you can find Chris at Jet Jurgens and Sonia at The Sonia Show. You can read about Sonia's random adventures at thesoniashow.com and track the slow and creeping progress of Chris's novel and his other hijinks at jetjurgens.com. You can find out more about The Dorking Out Show at dorkingoutshow.com. While you're over there, you can support us by giving us a review on iTunes. We have a handy-dandy iTunes link to whisk you right back to 2007, where you can leave your review and 5-star rating in iTunes. We'd do it for your podcast. Want to dork out even more? Well, you can sign up for our newsletter, where you'll get all the headlines we use as fuel for the show. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening.